will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here.
I must be the greatest.
The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I took up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man.
MH.
Yes, he's the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here, talking about the things in and around the game. So today we'll bring you back into the locker room. MH, you ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
Man, so let's just talk about the NBA playoffs, right? NBA, it is fantastic. Taking it back to the old 80s slogan, right? And just wanted to talk with you about what you feel the NBA finals have been thus far, man, and maybe drilling down more into what's been recently going on. But like to hear your thoughts, man. What do you think about the NBA finals so far?
Yeah, I think the playoffs has been good, man. It's been exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a little bit of refreshing, depending on what lens you look at it through.
Not refreshing for a Laker fan, right?
Right. Yeah. You don't see the normal LeBron where you used to seeing him through the finals.
Right.
Or Steph Curry or
at least the first round, right? He's
correct.
Never been knocked out of a first round. So
Right. So I mean, that's a change, but you're seeing, young stars and different teams being successul.
Right.
The Devin Bookers, the Tre Youngs, the Knicks while they were there for a couple days.
Every time.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they did their thing though, and it was good to see that, right? Because that sparks. I mean, even the Knicks coming into that conversation, man, it just got a lot of people excited. And there's rumblings, right? Your boy Zion's not happy with the Pelicans, and he's been like, "Oh man, it was great to play in Madison Square Garden." So hey, having that change has been refreshing.
Yeah, the NBA could have got that right a long time ago with Zion, but they did something else. But we won't get into that. They wouldn't be having this. Yeah, they wouldn't be. This wouldn't be a subject right now because Zion should be where he should be. But yeah, it's all gonna work out.
But overall, though, man, just been excited. And I feel the same way too, man. Seeing different kind of lineups because at the beginning, you heard certain commentators, and then the way they spin it, oh, I'm not paying to see a Bucks Jazz or that kind of lineup, but it's no, these games have been amazing and they're getting their money's worth, right? So you went from a shortened bubble league to now you're going to game 6 and game 7s in a lot of these. So it's been definitely an exciting kind of turn for things.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing that's kind of interesting about it is we talk about the NBA a lot that you can kind of always they play 7-game series, so you kind of know who's going to win sometimes even before the playoffs.
Right.
It's kind of a done deal.
Games, who's going to win. Right.
Yeah. Especially when you've had dominant teams in the past, like, Golden State and, the Heat when they had their, small dynasty and,
right.
Going back to the Spurs and the Lakers and the Bulls. I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of know who's going to be playing at the end. But this year's been a little different because you have your ideas, but everything's a little different, and it feels like the season has been for ever. Yeah, I mean,
it started later.
Yeah,
it's been forever.
I mean, when we were talking about it, are they going to have fans, and are they still going to be talking about Black Lives Matter, and and what are they doing for the All-Star game? Are they doing the All-Star game?
Yes, right.
So now they feel like they still playing. So it feels like it's been a long season, but all in all, I would say I guess it's successful, and I think the playoffs are showing that.
No, 100%. So a lot of things have been brought up during this. So let's start where we should start with King James and LeBron. You know what I mean? So. In one of our episodes, I think it was our last locker room episode about Katie, but either way, LeBron, he's been telling us, when LeBron speaks, Jeff Hutton, you should be listening, that health has been a really big issue. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts about that? Because we joked about it because we were talking about that conversation in a total different context because it was really irrelevant for him to put that tweet out at that time.
Facts.
But let's now talk about the relevancy and your thoughts on how big health has been as far as these playoffs have gone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he has a point. I think it's probably LeBron James himself getting a little older is the reason why he's getting a little banged up.
A little father time too.
Yeah, I mean, we know that your body doesn't recover the same no matter what you do. When you get to a certain age.
Yeah, tell us about that knee. How's that knee?
I'm telling you, right? And I don't sleep in a chamber like LeBron does.
Right, the oxygen chamber with spending $1 million on your body.
Yeah, but I mean, it has taken an effect to some degree on the playoffs and who we thought would be playing at the end. I think prior to, we probably thought the Lakers would be around, and LeBron was obviously banged up, and Anthony Davis was banged up, and we even thought Brooklyn, when they put their trio together, and they were kind of banged up and hurt, and that didn't all.
Kawhi.
Yeah, so Kawhi is hurt now, and Chris Paul.
And Ben Simmons
missing.
Hurt. Ben Simmons is hurt.
Yeah, so it's
I'm talking. That was more of a mental. He's.
Yeah, we got to talk about my man Ben. Man, I feel bad for my brother. That's my guy. I like Ben Simmons.
Really?
I love Ben Simmons. I love him.
So we'll definitely
he's really good. We had to get on that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's played a role, but I'm from the vein that it plays a role in every year, right? So whether you post COVID or during COVID or older team or younger team, I think there's some element of luck that goes to your championship run if you're able to do that, to stay healthy.
Any league, right? Like that's the whole club, right? Like
right.
That's, from tennis to golf to whatever, and especially talking about football or contact sports. So staying healthy is a part of it. And he was really putting it on like the shortened league aspect of it. But when you look at it, a lot of these people, have been really kind of, I don't want to say injury prone, but hell, KD hasn't played a full, season in how long?
Correct.
And then with just the way Kyrie plays, right? He's a slasher, so he's taking. Now it's not the way Jordan used to get beat up in the lane,
sure.
but he's still a slasher, taking those layups, hitting the ground, and all that stuff. So he was saying it was because of the shortened league, but then a lot of these people are somewhat injury prone.
Yeah, I mean
that could be an argument.
Yeah, I think LeBron James does a good job of building up some type of narrative all the time. So, if he's not succeeding, it's going to be because he's injured, which may be true. But, he's going to play to that narrative as much as possible because he can speak for everybody, as he said so eloquently in his tweet.
Me, in capitals. Y'all must have forgot. So – a lot of hot hands. So it's funny. I was listening. ESPN did something on hot hands, and it kind of took it back to NBA jams. Remember when he's heating up? You know what I mean?
He's on fire.
He's on fire. So a lot of surprising hot hands, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. But there were some people that just really stepped up that you had to look back down on the roster, like, hold on, hold on. You know what I mean? So it was kind of good to see that expanding benches and people just. Expanding their rotation and their lineups.
For sure. I know we touched on it, prior to getting on about Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
Whoa, just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. The Clippers are so random anyway, man. They just
facts.
They just have random assignments on random days. Everybody does a little bit of everything, but
and they were talking about their rotation too, right? Like how many combinations he had on the floor. And I don't remember the number, but it was just like, all right, you got, 11-man roster? Or
yeah, he play everybody until he figure out what he wants to do.
For what works, right?
Yeah. And I guess that's the element of coaching. But yeah, there's been some random hot hands. I mean, obviously Terrence Mann is the one that's most recent that's came to
and Kevin from the Suns, he balled out he started shooting. People are like, hold on, who is this? So it's just it's just the hot hands are just coming up and people breaking their YMCA average now, right?
Yeah. I mean Cameron Payne for the Suns, he's been killing. Random Austin Rivers plays 1 or 2 good games every, 2 or 3 contract years.
Right.
So he had a game that he played really well and helped the Nuggets win. So to your point, and then Dame Lillard had probably the best game I think I've ever watched.
Crazy.
Literally
went insane.
Against the Nuggets. Literally the best game. And they lost, but best game that I think I've ever seen just watching it. So yeah, there's been some crazy hot hands.
And we talked about KD. He's like KD went off. Your boy Paul George, played and like because it was all on him, right? Like
making free throws, Paul. Yeah.
Oh, see, I was saying I was giving them Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high. But yeah, that was terrible. Let's get on that, man. That was absolutely terrible. He was doing so good until it really mattered. And you can't be playoff P and miss you and pee down your leg for the foul shots. Like, you just had to make one.
Yeah, just make free throws, bro. It doesn't want to be a story. But it's funny. It kind of reminded me. I had a game in high school, separate sport, my junior year in football, and I think I had like a really good game, and I had a real nice interception. And I was really feeling good about myself. Like, you know what? I'm about to have my name in, the paper.
Right.
We still undefeated. They're going to interview me after the game. and then I dropped the onside kick and the other team won the game. Right. So like, no matter what you've done for those times, if you don't finish the game correctly, it doesn't matter. So I don't even remember Paul George's stats. I just remember him missing 2 free throws, and them losing, and him walking off with those
with the sad face,
with the 2006 braids,
the straight backs, baby. Let's go. He was channeling his inner Kawhi. That's what he was doing.
That's what he's trying to do.
That's what he's trying to do. He's like, yo, man, I'm gonna do the Kawhis tonight in honor of him, and yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's stay on bad moments, right? Okay. And I want to hear your spin because I didn't know this. You have an affinity for Ben Simmons.
Love Ben Simmons.
Really?
Love his game.
Love his game?
I do.
So we're talking about like style of play, right? Not his performance.
Everything about Ben Simmons I like.
Did you watch the 7-game series?
Yeah, I watched it. What's your thoughts? Before I'm gonna go in on my man.
Okay. It's sad. He is a talent, right? Like, I mean, you don't make it to the league and not be a talent.
Yeah.
It's one of those things to where maybe people are putting him in a position that he shouldn't be in. So maybe he's being not utilized properly. But then again, you should still, like Draymond Green still thinks he's the best because he stays in his lane with what he can do, right? He's a bully on the boards. He knows that he can pull up a 3, but like he has that confidence and he do what you're good at, right? I can't have you 2 feet from the rim or wherever the distance was where you're like, what is he, like 6'5", 6'10"?
Yeah.
And you pass the ball, like there's something going on. So, and the other part is, do you remember he used to have a reality show? You remember his reality show?
This is about him going to college or
going to college when he was like, it was,
he didn't want to be in college.
Yeah, he didn't want to be like, man, I ain't going to class. I'm going to the league. I'm doing this. So it's like, that's what you remember of him. And then like seeing like what has happened, it just kind of didn't fall through for me. So that's what the taste in my mouth is. It's like,
yeah.
And he hasn't helped his case with Embiid, right? Because now Embiid looks like the dude because like Embiid's fighting through injuries and, he's putting up the game and, he's shooting a shot at Rihanna. And then you got him who, I'm going to stop there. Let me tell me why you like his game and where do you think, what's the move? Because Doc, there's like, do you think he can be a point guard in this league? Well, I can't quite answer that right now.
That's really good, Doc.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So give me the whole route to why you like his game, Ben, and then where you think he's going to go.
All right, I'm going to lead this off where you left off with Doc Rivers. So first of all, I everybody that knows me, and I hate to really hate on black coaches, but I just think Doc Rivers is overrated, and I've thought it for a long time. Like probably one of the most overrated coaches.
Oh man, how can you say that? Okay,
the time that he did win a championship.
Yeah,
he had KG playing out of his mind, Ray Allen, and obviously Paul Pierce, and there was no other big threes in the NBA at that time. So they won that one year, and out of that group, they only won one championship. So that's neither here or there.
where a lot of people think they should have worn multiple. So yeah, okay.
Yep. Doc Rivers also was a head coach in Orlando, where T-Mac was in his prime. So this is before T-Mac was getting hurt, and T-Mac never got out of the first round, right? There's a series that Orlando Magic was up 3-1 to somebody, and they lost. It's coming. Obviously, we know the talent that he had on the Clippers with, CP and Blake Griffin when he was still Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan.
Right.
They never got out of the second round. And we know what's happened recently when they had, last year with Pandemic P and Kawhi Leonard, and obviously they didn't, they were up 3-1 and they came back. Right. So I think this theme with Doc Rivers underachieving with rosters that we think should do better is common. And then I also see that there are certain stars under his regime that, this may be a slight on them a little bit, that have lost confidence under his regime, right? Okay. So Pandemic P, he was sad forever, whatever the case is. And then he was quick to talk about what Doc Rivers didn't do or how he was utilized for that. Ray Allen just left the Celtics and they still mad at him, right? And he just went to the Heat to play with LeBron when something was going on with Doc and his confidence.
Right.
And then Ben Simmons, we saw, he's passing up on dunks because his confidence is all messed up. And there's some Philly that goes into that. They shacked Markelle Fultz. He forgot how to shoot, and they had to send him to Orlando, right? So I think there's a little bit with that. But I love Ben Simmons because he's a unique talent. He's a great passer. Obviously, we know what his size is. He was a number 1 overall draft pick, right? And so he's not just, anybody walking in the league. This is a top of the line guy, and he's a great defender. Right. And I think he understands his element of, I'm going to play defense. Shooting's not my game. I'm going to attack, get everybody involved, play defense. He understands that. I don't think his roster is set up for him to do us great. If you ever watch the games, Ben Simmons can push the ball out in front of everybody, and he ends up throwing the ball back to somebody because nobody else is really running with him. So what he does best, he can't really do what he does best with the 76ers, right? Okay. So I've been saying I think he's playing out of position. This may be my biggest, gripe against Ben Simmons. I don't know if he just feels like he's a point guard. I just think he's like a power forward or a center. He's not a point guard. Okay. So I think he's out of position. Obviously, I think Embiid is great. I think Embiid's never in shape like he needs to be because he always wears down. It's the reason why he always gets hurt. Right. And I think Doc Rivers is overrated. And I think Ben Simmons was the easy scapegoat. So I thought it was weak of Doc Rivers to kind of blame, say, I don't know, when you've been on his, swinging from somewhere the whole season. But now when you lose, you want to blame him. Right. And Embiid, you missing layups in game, I think 5 or 6, just blowing layups wide open against the Hawks. And then when you lose, you want to say, I think the turning point was this dude passing the ball. So I think,
missing free throws. He put him out there on blast, though.
So like that, I think that's lame. And then, Ben Simmons took it like a G on his chin, and he needs to get better. And he does. He does need to get better. But I don't think the 76ers really put him in the position to really shine. So Embiid do your thing, and I hope the Sixers let Ben go and he can do his thing.
Think would be a fit for him, or have you had not time to kind of look at that and think about that?
I think there's a guy out in the Pacific Northwest that probably could use him, Dame Lillard. Him, I think that's been talked about him for CJ McCollum, but could be a switch. Okay. I think I'm probably a lone wolf on this one, but I think if he played with LaMelo Ball and the Hornets and they just played Ben Simmons at a big, I think he could be pretty decent there. I don't know. I just think Ben Simmons, he's not utilized correctly all the way. Maybe he should be more aggressive. Right. And that's something that he got to fix with his confidence, but I just don't think he's used correctly. I think he's still a young guy, and I think he has a lot of upside to him. So I hope they keep shooting him down so they can, go ahead and let him go and he can shine somewhere else. I'm a fan of Ben Simmons.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. Well, do you think he's suffering from the Kardashian curse?
I didn't get into that element, but I think that's probably the reason why he's easy. He's an easy target right now.
After his third breakup with Kendall.
And one of them, and then
one of them. And like
the new piece is shining too. That boy Devin Booker.
Hey, Devin's like, yo, ain't no curse over here, kid. Maybe it's the end part. Like the new part is good. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, gotta go back to the gym, Ben. Yeah,
definitely to go back to the gym. Well, I mean, same man. Hopefully he gets it together. And sometimes it's just a new environment, a new situation. All of those things, can provide and sometimes promote, better results or different results, right?
Yeah, I mean, Philly booed Destiny's Child, so
and then they throw bottles
there.
They threw bottles at Santa Claus.
Yeah, man. So,
like that's Philly,
If they don't love you, they certainly hate you. So
for sure, and hard. All right, so let's move on. Another topic that's been around and recently came up, I would say really during the Suns Clippers, the West Coast Finals. That was just a couple days ago. How do you feel about the refs and these reviews and getting it right and just kind of that theory about the game?
I think the NBA is on a slippery slope with some of their reviews.
Uh-huh.
I think particularly in this recent game with the Suns and the Clippers, towards the end of the game, I think Devin Booker got the ball knocked away.
Yep.
And they reviewed it, and it was clearly like in any other game of basketball pickup, it's clearly, hey, man, you knocked the ball off. Let's take the ball out and go. They have to go review and, his left fingernail.
Fingernail, because on the hangnail because he didn't get it trimmed.
Was still on the ball. Yeah. And I think that's at any walks of, that's any possession of every play in basketball, and it's kind of just wasting time. And it takes the momentum out of the game. I know in the playoffs in the last 2 minutes, you definitely want to get it right. But at the same time, man, there's got to be some kind of natural element and natural flow to the game, which the NBA is on a slippery slope with it right now.
And it's tough, right? Like, and that's the excuse they use, right? That's their go-to line. Like, man, we want to get it right. And it's like, but you didn't, though.
Right.
Right. How can you go with that? And it was just so many, like, blatant and long extended things. Like the fact that they couldn't even get the right 10 people after the alley-oop. They couldn't get the right 10 people because Monks was trying to sub and shit. So it's just like, and that took a long time. It was like, nah, you wasn't in. No.
You know what? Let's go back to the tape.
Let's go back to the table. We got to look. Who's that? Rewind. And so that just made it very long. And that does take, and like they're talking about, takes the joy out of it because they were doing that after the oop, right? Or they're calling it the valley oop, right? There's the Suns, the valley oop, whatever. But then you'd even think about that, right? That last play, they got that because they got an extra timeout while they were reviewing something else, right? They were reviewing the time. So he's like, okay. And you go over here, and then you go over there, and then they come up with this amazing play, right? So it's just those advantages that they need to figure out somehow. Like, look, y'all can't go. Y'all got to stay on the court or whatever it is because there's some advantages that are being given. And then the excitement, right? Like I saw that play and thought it was crazy, and everybody should be celebrating, but they're like,
right.
We got to review it. And it was 0.9 seconds, and you telling me that play happened in only 2 seconds? Like, why are we stopping the clock? Just it's a lot, and you're right. They're in a real slippery slope of getting it right and not wanting to cause a swing from a game, because that's in that last minutes, that could have swung either way.
Yeah, it's a game. Yeah, those are jobs on the line. I also think, man, I know logistically probably wouldn't be easy, but just get a bigger monitor, bro. Like, these ain't like young officials. Everybody's looking at big jumbotrons in the stadium at home.
Everybody home with your 70-100 inch.
Everybody on their 4K, and you trying to look at this 10-inch screen. Yeah, squinting. Just get a bigger screen. I know you can't carry big 75 inches on the scores table, but it might just help if you just have a bigger screen. What are you hiding from? Everybody else can see the play.
Everybody else can see it and call it. And then I think there should be a time limit. Like if you can't make that decision in 30 seconds or less or 45. Like if you got to analyze, the ball with the trajectory of the bounce, with the velocity of where he was standing,
Yeah.
and if you look at the angle, if you can look at it, and if you can't, hey, call stands on whatever the floor is, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree.
So let's just jump into just funny things, right? Because we both have it's not weird. We just have an observant sense of humor. So we got certain things that just tickle us. So I'm gonna start off with one, and unless you got one right off that you want to start with.
No, go ahead.
So for me is I want to start off with how they were killing Tre Young's hair game. So it was so disrespectful to chant. And, looks like a little bird's nest on the top of his head where it's it's full right here and it's a little soft right there in the middle.
Yeah.
And just the cheer of the fans and how they were going in for it. I mean, it's hilarious. And I love that a part of the game. And he even said it too. He's like, yo, that's a part of the game. I don't mind it. And especially because he won, that series. So of course he can walk out and say that. But that was one of the funny parts. You got one for me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go to the West Coast. Mm-hmm. I think there's one or two players that I just think is hilarious. So, and it all happened with the Phoenix Suns. So,
okay.
First of all, Jay Crowder to me is the funniest player in the NBA.
Okay.
Because he's a little bit of a front runner.
Uh-huh.
So when his team is winning, he wants to be, a tough guy. But at the same time, he flops around all the time. I think he was blocking somebody's shot against the Nuggets. And Jay Crowder's not the greatest athlete vertically in the world. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's been trying to dunk and block shots is just hilarious to me. Bro, you can't jump. Number 2 with the Suns, Cameron Payne. So Jokic, Nikola Jokic's MVP.
Right.
Got a little frustrated, I think in game 4 against the Suns, and he tried to foul Campaign hard.
Uh-huh.
And hit Campaign in his nose. Yeah. To me, the funniest part is Campaign. Devin Booker done try to get in Jokic's face, and Jokic's brothers are in the stand yelling at Devin Booker. And
they ran down like they wanted to bust a move.
Yeah. The other dude in the Suns man is beating up some Denver Nuggets fan. Everything is going around in the arena. This whole time, Campaign laying on the ground holding his nose. Get up, man. Get up. Stop all that faking. And then the last thing with the Suns, which is funny to me. It's not a funny situation, but it is. The very moment after the Suns won, they swept the Nuggets. Chris Paul went in the stands to go hug his parents. I think were there, or salute them. It was they won. They were going to the next round. Mm-hmm. That very moment, I said he is going to test positive for COVID. I didn't know why I thought that. I feel like the NBA probably had a rule don't take your butt in the stands.
Right.
He went as soon as he went up the stands the next day, positive.
Well, hold on. Let's talk. That's funny. That's amazing. So that goes back to our humor because that's the stuff that we see and we think about. So did they ever come out and say he had COVID? That was the thing. That was it. He's been in COVID protocols the whole time, and they never said from what. So I think you're right. He went in the stands, somebody in the stands or something, he was close to somebody, but they never said if it was he's out because he had COVID, right? Or he's in COVID protocol. So and then they've also announced and said that he's been vaccinated, which is a whole nother conversation why they sharing that dude's health records and stuff like that.
HIPAA, wow.
HIPAA, right? Yeah. HIPAA just out the door. But no, so they never said that. That's a hell of a funny moment, man.
Not only did he go 1 or 2 rows in the stands, his parents are almost in the suites, and I was like, yo, he about to test positive. They probably told, hey man, don't do that.
Yelling at him, yo,
hey, come to the locker room after. Come on down. They was we can't have this happen.
So I guess I will continue with that. Not funny, but just a weird thing. So now that he's on this protocol, the FaceTime that they're doing with him after the game, I don't need that. That's too much. Like, I get it. Like, he's like their leader and all of this shit. But like, I don't need you like right when I get in the tunnel to hand me the phone to tell me good. And like,
here's Chris.
Here's Chris. Like, and whose phone is that? Right? Like whose phone's getting passed around? Have Chris on FaceTime immediately after the game. And then the last one I saw, like, he had his mask on talking to them, like, bro, you don't have to play that game anymore. Like, you're already in CDC jail or protocol. You don't need to wear your mask.
You're okay.
At your house. You're good.
You're okay, bro. It's fine. Yeah, no, that whole situation hasn't necessarily been funny, I guess, but it is.
Yeah, I should say it's funny. It was interesting. We'll say. How about that?
Interesting is the right word for it.
You hinted on it. I'd want to spend just a little more time on it. The fan that beats up these two dudes. Like, the dudes, both of them tried to, like, well, the one dude definitely tried to snuff him, right? Tried to sneak him. Like, he was
with the no look. Yeah.
No look. He did the, like, and then he tried to look away and then got caught up, right? Hit him with the unders. So he drops not drops him, but he controls the situation, and then he looks into the dude's camera record and say Suns in 4.
Just now the dude got t-shirts, he's getting tickets to another game, he's signing autographs and taking
he's
pictures.
Got his own IG, man. He's taking like pictures with people. Like, so Suns in 4 IG. I'm gonna give him love. I mean, he did it. Hey, that's part of going out, but pictures, Suns in 4 is a thing. And the thing about it was they went in 4. Because it was like that was game 2.
Game three
that happened. So it's just like so that was, of course, a funny moment.
Another thing with that,
okay,
if I pause with it, for one, I went to college with a dude that's name is Kevin Middle. My immediate thought was, is that Kevin Middle getting punched like that? Because Kevin Middle had a nice little fade like that,
right there, the little
with the little chin strap. I was like, boy, this better not be Kevin Middle getting beat up. But it wasn't Kevin. Kevin, if you see this, I'm sorry. I thought that was you.
I thought it was you. I'm glad it's not you taking the L.
And then, have you seen the dude that got beat up? Have you seen, like, on TikTok, he has like this video.
Oh, talking about like, he really didn't get me or something like that.
He scratched me when he tried to pull my chain. That's why I was bleeding. And I was blocking all his.
That's that shit. Like, when you were young and you got in a fight, like, man, he ain't really hurt, man. Like, no, you got your ass whooped.
Yeah, the fact that he ran away at the end was probably the worst look of the whole thing. So, and
the fact that it was 2 of you.
Yeah. Yeah. In your home city. You had nuggets. Yeah.
Suns in 4. Oh, that's hilarious. A really quick one. I don't know if you caught this one, but I caught it and just was like, really one of those people that took the time and like, I want to be relevant now. So did you see what the Big Baby Davis said about Kyrie getting hurt? He said it was
in response to him stepping on the logo or something?
Yeah, he said it was karma because he stepped on the logo. So the way he came down is why he got hurt. And I'm like, really? And like went off about it, like was really upset and like he had some bad feelings. And I was like, I know you're a Celtics player, you had some time with them, but like it don't run that deep, man. You just let that go.
Hey, I can't sleep on. I mean, Big Baby, fellow New Year's baby. So shout out to him. We got the same birthday, January 1st, 1986. When he was in Boston, we kind of celebrated together. You didn't really know who I was, but I knew who you were. And somehow we both got champagne that night. So shout out to you, Big Baby. But yeah, I mean that injury by Kyrie. Well, I guess it's not funny, but that same kind of injury, a lot of people were not a lot of people, but some people were blaming Giannis. Like, did he do that
on purpose?
On purpose, and I think that's pretty lame. But that's what it is. Because
I really don't think, like, in football, I would give you a greater chance of people saying that, and not that they're looking to hurt you on purpose, but like, yo, like I'm not going to lay you down softly when I'm coming to,
correct.
Come to tackle you, right? So yeah, that's a bunch of BS, man. All right, any other funny moments we have, man?
Yeah, my last one is the KD stuff. So that KD hit in that great shot that he hit, right?
The one he was backpedaling, he was like actually showing emotion, or
no? Game 7,
Okay.
where he hit that fadeaway shot that sent it into overtime, basically. And he was like, "Yeah, I had a size 17 or 16 or whatever. From his toe was on the line, and he's like, "Yeah, my foot's a little big." But the pictures that have came out showing KD's feet in different situations is hilarious. It's
the
like
internet is undefeated. Undefeated.
Boy got some big ass feet, man.
Ain't got no Shaq size feet though.
Yeah, they close.
And then Shaq. I guess that was a funny moment when Shaq was talking to him after the game, and he's like, "Man, if we were in the locker room, he would put hands on
Ben Simmons." Yeah, he was dead ass serious.
He was so serious. He's like, "Man, if that was my locker room, like,
yeah."
And then Kenny Smith goes like, "Yeah, I got the receipt."
Yeah, I've heard some stories.
Love that show, man. Love those guys. All right, so let's just jump into. We definitely want to celebrate Black excellence, and there's some things around the playoffs or just news that's going on right now. I think some definitely dope ones that I'll lead off with the first one. And if there's anything that comes to mind for you, or just you can kind of give kind of commentary to it. But and now I just went blank. James Jones winning executive of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just super dope, man, especially from the aspect, because what we talk about a lot is really that there's life after sports, right? And we want, like, yeah, we do have the pros on here, but we have the people like that play at a certain level and do something else. So for him to come from, a playing caliber and a really, really great career, just to have success in what he's doing right now is just, with the Suns, is just dope.
I think it's real dope, man. Considering where their Suns were just a couple years ago.
Super fast.
Some of the criticism he got with some of the earlier moves that he was making, but obviously we talked about having a plan and purpose. Seems like he's had a plan and made the correct moves. And another thing, I think Kenny Smith actually talked about it on Inside the NBA, was that, professional sports sometimes, he's talking about where you could spend, 15 plus years in one industry as a player, kind of know what that industry is, but because you don't qualify for anything else, like you don't meet any other prerequisites. So being that he was a former player, and this is a second version of his career in the NBA, and he's doing, being an executive at a high level, for sure. Shout out to James Jones.
Definitely dope. Another that's kind of, narrative that we've been seeing is that there have been a lot of Black coaches represented in the playoffs.
Sorry, Doc.
Starting off.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
We're dwindling down right now. So, we got 3. So there's still that potential to have, 2 Black head coaches representing the teams in the finals. And that'd be like the first time since 1975 that 2 Black coaches have represented the NBA finals. So the way the Bucks played recently.
Yeah, Atlanta's going to win that.
I think so. We'll get that to when we get to predictions. But because the only other time that was potentially going to happen is when the Cavs played the Warriors, but it wasn't really head coach because old boy was just sitting in because Steve Kerr was having those back issues.
Yeah, Mike Brown. Mm-hmm.
Mike Brown stepped in, which was also kind of odd because he used to be the Cavs coach, and I always thought about like how he felt about that situation to see Lou bring the chip, but I'm trying to think. What you got? Any others?
Yeah, mine is a little different. Something that I've noticed. I think the last 2, maybe 3 games with the Hawks is they always show Tre Young's dad in the stands, and I think that's interesting because they don't really show Black fathers a lot in a lot of different situations. And I think he's been a basketball player, but he's not like LeBron James or Michael Jordan, right? So he's just
Curry's father, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's not Dale Curry, and even then they show his mom way too much,
way more.
She's pretty, but you don't have to show her all the time,
right?
She get more. That's part of the reason why Steph Curry's wife always mad. Mom get more than her. Golly, but anyway, no, they really show Tre Young's father a lot. And they talk about the special bond that he has with his son. Mm-hmm. And I think that needs to be a light shine on him now. And he doesn't say a whole lot. He's not like LeVar Ball where you have to hear him talk.
Right.
But obviously he's been important to Tre Young and his success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's excellent.
No, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's great.
That.
Mm-hmm. That's a great one to show that, because we talk about that a lot, on the show, and just kind of observing, how that narrative is really played. I mean, even I still recall the draft, like where they talk about like the negative shit about like what. No, like you could have found. There's so many things that you could talk.
He spent 2 nights in the back of a truck. Like, oh, okay. I mean,
all right.
There's some other stuff you could highlight, but yeah,
a lot of stuff. So no, that's a good one. I guess one other one that I would share is just kind of the thing we talk about, right, is actually having representation in Black coaches. So it's awesome to see that Chauncey Billups is in the finals running for the Portland Trailblazers. And I mean, shout out to Becky Hammond as well. So I think we posted on our Twitter or one of our socials that like the NBA in a sense can't lose because they're having representation. So I think that's kind of dope.
Yeah. And, I don't want to always mispronounce his first name, but Ime Udoka just got the head coaching job with the Celtics. And so, shout out to him. Congratulations to him. Thumbs down from my man, Jay Williams, bro. You gotta come on, man. You gotta work your Twitter a little better than that, bro.
You gotta step up.
Yeah. So, yeah, but no, to your point, man, there is representation and it's growing, and it should, 80% of the NBA is, Black, so it should probably reflect itself in the front office and on the sideline as well.
100%. And I mean, you have these coaches that are assistants in college and, in the league and all these other places. And if you're giving Steve Nash, a job, without ever having any kind of real coaching other than some of those special superficial titles that you get, like, yo, you're going to be our super director of whatever we want to call it with the Warriors. So it'd be good to continue to see that.
Yeah, I mean, and for a guy like Udoka, he's paid his dues, right? He's been an assistant coach for a long time under Greg Popovich. Right. We always talk about his tree, so he's well deserving of it. And Chauncey Billups was a leader on the court. He's paid his dues going back to being an assistant. Obviously, he watched the game from an analyst perspective. So, yeah, these guys have paid their dues. They're not just, random dudes, that's just going on there trying to coach a team. They've paid their dues.
Facts.
And they're deserving of it.
All right, man. So let's bring this home, man. Let's just talk about predictions right now. So let's start in the West. We're in the West. Clippers and Suns. So the Suns have been LA killers so far, right? So they've knocked out.
Yeah, they got LeBron tweeting.
They got LeBron tweeting, right? So and now they're up 2 against the Clippers, man. What are your predictions? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, the Clippers have been down 2, I think, in both series that
Was it both? I know it was definitely last year. It could have been
the Jazz and the Mavericks. They started off 0-2.
0-2 and then came back.
They're not in unfamiliar territory.
Right.
We'll see what happens with Kawhi Leonard being kind of weird about his injury.
I don't see him coming back this series.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, I don't see them winning. I think the Suns are going to win that in 5 games. The Suns are a real well-balanced team, and they do everything a little well. And shout out to Ayton. People kind of act like he came out of nowhere, like he wasn't the number 1 pick just a couple years ago. Like,
I mean, he's a $10 million man.
Yeah, like this is Ayton is the real deal. He's the number 1 overall pick.
And I mean, they're getting the Lob City going, man. I love seeing that. I love seeing them playing inside, man. Like real transition to passing, like inside, outside. Like
they do everything a little well. They're good.
Everything.
Monty Williams, good job, sir.
No, man. I like.
So I got Suns. Who you got?
I'm going with the Suns. I'm definitely riding with the Suns. It's tough. Like, have affinity for Lou. I got another homeboy that's one of the coaches on there. But I don't know. It's just something about the Suns, man. I'm rocking with old boy. Suns in 4. No, I think it's going to go a little longer than that. But I am rocking with the Suns.
They're good. They're good, man.
They're really good. I mean, and honestly, I think that this series is the finals, right? Like, I think these are the 2 best teams
Oh, the Suns and the Clippers.
Yeah, I think whoever wins on this is going to win it all. That's just with the level of play, the talent, and it's the West, right? Like, I am knocking the East, but let's move over to the East.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta steals one. So their series is just getting started up. So Atlanta steals one, game one of the series. And Tre has just been balling. So what are your thoughts between Atlanta and the Bucks? Because Atlanta did knock out your Knicks, man. So I just
I'm glad you said that, because ever since Buddy attempted to spit on Tre Young, he's been crazy.
Crazy. Shooting from half court, like, man, come on.
The dude's been on one.
Shimmying before shots.
He's clowning the Bucks.
Clowning.
So I think I've been on the Hawks since they kind of finished off the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to win the championship personally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe that's just a little wishful thinking.
So if it's Hawks and Suns, you think it's Hawks are the champs?
I think the Suns are just a lot better than the Hawks are.
Mm-hmm. You just think that there's like that internal grit and
I'm just going to go for the Eastern Conference. I guess.
Hey, ride with your conference. I respect that.
Yeah, I really think they're going to beat the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they get to the finals, why not just go ahead and win it? And partly because I've hated on CP for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, while I want him to get a championship, I'm like, I still want Melo to get his championship too. So unless they are the team, you got to go no championships too. So I think the Hawks are legit.
Okay.
Legit good. So I'm going to Hawks. Hawks going to win this in 6 with the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do match up with the Suns, that'll probably be a 7-game series, but I'm going to say that the Hawks will win in 7.
Hawks will win in 7. There you go, man. All right. Anything else for the people, man, before we sign off?
Nah, good stuff, brother.
Nah, man, it's definitely good stuff, man. And NBA has been really good stuff, man. Just like I said, probably in the beginning, from the playing game to these games have been really exciting. Even with the extra reviews and ref reviews and things like that, they've been going to the wire, back and forth, and just a lot of unseen things. So the NBA is winning in this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we didn't talk about how like it started off with no fans, and then I think another cool part of the playoffs is like the stadiums are full again.
Yeah, Suns Stadium is just on a whole nother level.
Well, I mean, Matt, they still MSG is still has a gold medal for the fan experience.
Oh no, it was
in the playoffs,
man. Spitting and all.
But yes, the Suns they are rocking.
That's what's up. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you are enjoying the NBA Finals, man. It was good to shine a light. There was a lot going on, so we definitely want to spend some time with that. Thank you for listening. Please check us out. You can definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can watch us, or just wherever you listen to podcasts. We are Black in Sports on all your favorite social media, so please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap and back.